two bombas, two big massive news that happened over the last hour. Because as I said before, I want to say, I told you so. I want to say, I said this before, that Bruno Guimarães will be another Isak situation. And officially, as David Ornstein tweeted, Bruno Guimarães wanting to join Arsenal. Bomba on the other side for Manchester United. Andrey Santos is joining Manchester United. It is a here we go from Fabrizio Romano, and David Ornstein have tweeted the deal is already done. It's agreed. He's booking his medical. Manchester United adding another Chelsea midfielder after Mason Mount to their midfield, and they are trying to build a midfield. We'll talk about these two deals. I will tell you what it means. There is a bid from Arsenal, as it is reported by Ben Jacobs, that Newcastle are ready for the bid from Arsenal. What is going to happen? What does Bruno Guimarães offer Arsenal midfield? What does that mean for the likes of Zubamendi? What does it mean for Morgan Rogers' deal? And also Manchester United with Chouameni or Ederson. What does that mean for Ederson? We'll talk about it. But before I do all of this, you know the drill. Hit that like button, guys. If you guys are here, this is Judge Mo. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new for the latest news, of course, and the latest opinion. It is my opinion. I'm not a reporter. I'm just someone who tells you an opinion. Like the video. It gives a thumbs up. It pushes the video to new viewers. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Let's get right into it. David Ornstein bomba. Bruno Guimarães informs Newcastle that he wishes to leave and join Arsenal, stepping up the pursuit. They are ready to offer a deal worth of £60 million at present, but no club-to-club contact yet. Newcastle still saying he's not for sale. Yeah, Bruno Guimarães is not for sale. I've seen this movie before. I've seen this movie last summer. Isak is not for sale, and I believed you. This time, I'm not believing you. Bruno Guimarães is done. Bruno Guimarães is gone, and he's right to actually ask to leave. When you are selling Tonali, when you are selling Anthony Gordon, why would Bruno Guimarães stay? Why would Bruno Guimarães stay at a loser club like Newcastle who failed to keep their best players? He should join Arsenal. He should join a team that is about to try to retain the title. The champions of England, Arsenal, are adding another guy to the midfield. And it's inevitable. Arsenal midfield are going to become even stronger under Mikel Arteta with Bruno Guimarães. Now we're talking about Odegaard. We're talking about Eze in the 10. But adding Bruno Guimarães next to Declan Rice, it is finito. It is finished. And that is my opinion. I think it's finished. They got the runner. They got the dog. They got the guy that tackles. They got the guy that dictates the game. They got the guy that can maybe create something. I don't think he's the best creator. Of course, Bruno Guimarães, I think he's coming in to play with Zubamendi and to replace maybe Zubamendi. What does that mean? Does that mean Zubamendi is gone? You let me know in the comment section what you guys think. Does that mean that Zubamendi's journey at Arsenal ended? Or is Mikel Merino is going to be a striker now, and Bruno Guimarães and Rice will be the 8th? There is Marzo Skelly, and there is, of course, Zubamendi in the 6th. There is Odegaard and Eze in the 10, and it's going to be Bruno Guimarães and Rice. But I think, and I'm going to be completely honest, I think the starting 11 will have Bruno Guimarães and Rice both in the starting 11. And don't tell me that Marzo Skelly is better than Guimarães. Don't tell me that Zubamendi is better than Guimarães in the 6th or the 8th. It doesn't matter. The problem is going to be Odegaard and Eze. Who's the starter? Or is Morgan Rogers coming in to be the 4, to be the left winger? But that confirms one thing, that Morgan Rogers isn't coming to Arsenal to be the 10. Unless Odegaard maybe is heading out. But the reports and all the rumors have been denied that Odegaard is leaving. Is Bruno Guimarães coming in to be the 6th, coming in to be the 8th? He's definitely not coming in to be the 10. But as it's reported again by Goalside, that's a £60 million bid, that's a steal. And I've been saying it for the last week and a half. At 28 years old, that is ready. That is ready-made now. That is ready to plug and play. You know the plug and play? That is Bruno Guimarães. He doesn't need development. He doesn't need any adjustment. He's a Premier League ready player. He's the captain of Newcastle. Do I like his antics on the pitch? Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I think he's over-aggressive. He did it with Arsenal. But it's better to have it for your team than not to have it for your team. Is he going to change? I doubt it. He's the same guy. But Arsenal lack that profile. And I'm going to say this. Arsenal midfield is a bit soft. Is a bit soft in terms of like the dog, the Joao Linton treatment. You know that, Joao Linton? The Bruno Guimarães treatment. That dog that tackles and fights. And Bruno Guimarães adds that to Arsenal without a shadow of a doubt. But that midfield now is becoming super and duper strong. That team is becoming even more physical than it was before. When I was talking about the soft side, I was talking about that guy that would leave a tackle in, that would let a midfielder knowing that I'm here. I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. That is Bruno Guimarães for me. And I'm going to say this. If Arsenal add this guy and add Morgan Rogers to be part of that midfield, I think they become the strongest midfield in the league in terms of a squad depth, in terms of a structure, because I was speaking earlier on the live show about the midfield in vacuum, but we know that midfields aren't in vacuum. We know that midfields are part of a structure, are part of a team. And that is what Mikel Arteta has built at Arsenal. He built a machine. He built a team that is, they go and they know exactly what they want to do on the pitch. And I think Bruno Guimarães fits that Arsenal team. I think he fits that. And he shouldn't stay at Newcastle. And £60 million. Can't beat that, my man. Can't beat this. That is good news because I want to see the best players play for the clubs that challenge. Elliot Anderson going to Manchester City for 125 or 130 or 115, whatever you want to say, who reports who. But I want to see the likes of Morgan Rogers. I want to see the likes of Guimarães. I want to see the likes of Tonali, where it's a big club. It's a shame that Tonali went to Spurs. With all due respect to Spurs, I wanted to see Tonali play for United, play for City, play for Arsenal, play for Liverpool. That's what I wanted to see. And Bruno Guimarães going to Arsenal is going to add a lot of vim. It's going to add a lot to the Arsenal team. And I'm telling you, embrace yourself for an absolute season of a big, big season from Arsenal and City as well after adding Elliot Anderson, who is starting the World Cup currently. And as Ben Jacobs have said, he reported in June 27th about the bid. Arsenal pursuit of Guimarães is ongoing, although Newcastle insists no direct contact from Arsenal. A new bid is expected for around £60 million. Arsenal informed via intermediaries last month that Newcastle don't want to sell, but Guimarães wants to move. That's another Isak. He's going to go on strike. If they don't sell him, he ain't playing for the club again. If a player publicly is saying that I don't want to play for you again, you can't keep the player. The player power is real in the world. We all know that. We all know this. £60 million can beat that without a shadow of a doubt. In terms of Manchester United, that we got that, here we go for Andrey Santos. £50 million package. Contract until 2031. I know a lot of people saying this guy is not worth 50 million. But let me establish something about Andrey Santos. If Matías Fernandes, who got relegated, who's 21 years old, that played for West Ham, is 85 million, 50 million for a player like Andrey Santos is a good deal. I don't think he is the marquee signing for Manchester United. I know a lot of people think that, yeah, this is the marquee signing. I think Man United are about to make a big move for another midfielder. It might be Tchouaméni. But I'm going to tell you my opinion about Andrey Santos. You can agree, you can disagree with me. Andrey Santos to Manchester United is a great deal. I don't think you can have a better player for 50 million to be added to your squad. I actually think, and I agree with Terry when he said, that I think that Andrey Santos is a replacement for Ederson. I think the Ederson deal might be off. Even though we got that, here we go. I think it might be off, in my opinion, because I think there's something in the medical. And I think Andrey Santos is better because I think he's a fighter as well. I like him. I think he's a decent footballer. I don't think he's as bad. He's very young. He can develop. And I think at Manchester United, he's going to be a good player. He's going to get a lot of minutes. Manchester United are now in the Champions League. They aren't planning to go out early. And I actually like this signing. I think it's a decent addition to any midfield in the league for £50 million. Oh, yeah, but Chelsea finished this, Chelsea finished that. But you know that Andrey Santos is a good player. He's a tackler. He can carry the ball. He isn't the best in carrying the ball. And he can pass the ball around. I think he's a decent midfielder that is very, very serviceable. Is he going to be the marquee signing? Absolutely not for Manchester United. But again, Man United are building the midfield slow. They went to Matias Fernandes, but he was too expensive. And I would rather have Andrey Santos for 50 and they go and pay 100 million for Tchouameni than having Matias Fernandes for 85. And now you are left with 80 million pounds. If your budget for the midfield is 150 million pounds, I would rather them spend it like this. That's spending it very, very wisely. Because remember, Manchester United still need to add a backup striker and maybe still need to add a left back and a left winger. So they need to allocate the money the right way. And Andrey Santos is a decent footballer that played for Chelsea. What I don't understand is that why are Chelsea still doing the profit thing? Why are Chelsea doing the thing about as long as we get a profit for a player, he leaves? However, there is one more thing that I wanted to mention, that it was said, and I read in the reports, that Andrey Santos informed Chelsea that he wants to leave. He informed Chelsea that he wants to jump ship. He informed Chelsea that he wants to go to Manchester United. That is not a good sign. With all due respect to everyone, that isn't a good sign, in my opinion. That is a sign of a player that thinks that his future is somewhere else. And I actually think that maybe under Xabi Alonso, I thought they would hold on to players. Correa's gone. Enzo Fernandez is staying. However, he still flirts with other clubs. I still think that the Real Madrid deal is still going to be something in it. But Man United signing Andrey Santos is not a bad signing. And I don't want anyone to twist my word to say that he's a top player. He ain't a top player, but I think he's a very, very good addition to a midfield that needs rebuilding. Because at the end of the season, they ended up with Casemiro, Kobe Menu, and Bruno Fernandes only. They needed 3 midfield. They added Andrey Santos. They added Ederson earlier. Maybe they add Tchouameni. I'm not sure if the Ederson deal will go through. But I genuinely believe that we are talking about a summer that will be very, very busy for the top clubs. And Manchester United, good signing. I applaud that 50 million pounds. It's a very good signing, if you don't get me wrong. And I like how Man United are building the team. I like how Man United are building that midfield. They're getting a serviceable player that can play in multiple positions. Andrey Santos can play the 6. He can play the 8. He can play the double pivot in 2 6s. And I think he's a very, very good addition. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new here, of course. And also check out our sponsor, OKJersey.com, as you see in front of you on the screen. Check them out. £15 shirts. Use code MHF to get your discount there. As you see in front of you, you won't regret it. Shirts, you'll get t-shirts, you'll get new gear, you'll get jackets, you'll get windbreakers, you'll get training kits, you'll get everything from the website. And they are great quality as well. Go and check them out. Got a lot of people buying things from them, and they are saying they liked what they bought. So go and check them out. And don't forget to leave a comment below. A comment goes a long way. I will see you guys on the next video. And I appreciate you, everyone. We're out of here, people.